Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nona from thealignedlover.com. I have been thinking about this question for quite a while, so finally I made a video on it. Which style system is right for you? With all of these different systems to choose from, how can you choose the one that will serve you the most? So, for any style system, though there are various goals, I think the top priority should be clarifying the steps to achieving your personal style. If a style system cannot give you any semblance of precision as to how you can better achieve your style goals, then it's not very useful for you. The only way to offer precision is to offer a system that resonates with your goals and values. Otherwise, you just get a system that's very irrelevant. It just seems like you get a ton of information that you can't apply. So I do think that different style systems have a certain goal or a certain theme that propels them or that really serves as their foundation, and these are my interpretations of the goals of various systems. Obviously, I am not the creator of these systems, but these are the observations that I have developed as I have studied various systems, so hopefully it resonates with your own experience as well. Alright, so I'll briefly go into the different goals of certain systems. Kibbe, this is the one that I talk about the most. It's heavily based on style archetypes, and it has originally stressed the importance of star power, and I mean that by his book Metamorphosis. He's always talking about star power, the different kinds of identities that you can cultivate. And that requires looking at both physicality and essence, but as the material has been popularized and discussed, the system has emphasized ways to identify the most, I would say, flattering accommodations for one's lines. So I find that the original ideas like femme fatale, diva chic are not discussed very much because they tend to be a little too specific or maybe a little bit limited, but the interactions between fabrics and silhouette are usually what most people think about when they think of Kibbe. I personally focus more on, again, that yin-yang physicality and how that corresponds with fabrics, and that gives the Kibbe system a more technical flavor, in my opinion. Also, historically, the face had been given too much emphasis. I believe that's due to that Kibbe questionnaire that gives equal weight to questions about face as questions of body. So dressing the body also had to be more stressed. And I mention this because the style essences are a bit different. So with the style essences, like with McJimsey or Kitchener, physicality is definitely accounted for, but there's more emphasis on presence, more abstract or not as easily, I would say, measurable concepts like voice, mannerisms, movement, and even personal affinities, like the environments that one thrives in. Color also tends to be a bit more weighted in the discussion of certain types, like ethereal being linked to lower contrast a lot of the time. Some style systems are extremely specific, like with Kitchener, who assigns percentages of different essences. Some are more intuitive, like stylists who assign up to 3 essence combinations, but without any sort of ratio or specific number in mind. So with style essences, the theme seems to be on the whole picture, or the actual themes, rather than very technical aspects, and facial features are more stressed. So very different from Kibbe, where it's more about finding the technical details that will really create the outfit that enhances the silhouette really well. And essence in the Kibbe system is not as, I would say, isolated as in the style essences. Alright, then we have everyone's arch nemesis, unless you're an hourglass, the fruit body or body shapes, like you're an apple, you're a pear, banana, or a ruler, triangle, or hourglass. These systems assign a dominant shape and ways to balance that shape to minimize any imbalances. For example, the apple is given ways to minimize the larger chest for balance. I think this system glorifies the hourglass and usually attempts to impose some version of it on all of the shapes. Obviously, it depends on what resource you're looking at, but a lot of the time, the non-hourglass shapes tend to be presented as more flawed, needing more work or more balance, unless you have that triangular hourglass. And by that, I mean non-curve on curve. It's the like balanced hip and shoulders with a tiny waist. All right, next we have dressing for your archetype. Probably not as popular as the other ones, but I still think it's good to compare. The system considers the purposes of different archetypes and provides ways of communicating them through clothing choices in a clear way. So if you have like a very stressed and a more regal and professional kind of style, whereas if you have like a more mystic huntress archetype, you'll be given more free-flowing and I would say kind of boho ways of dressing because they really help cement that purpose or identity in a visual way so that you can have a clear role and express your clear roles. They're very much based on Jungian archetypes. And then we have seasonal color, though that's not necessarily a style system because it focuses, more on color, which is a foundation for any system. I do think that considering seasonal color will give you some sort of limitations because of practicality's sake. It's just difficult to find like edgy and sharp pieces, and light springs or really starkly black and red prairie dresses, dresses that usually come in white or beige or ivory or like light pink. It's really hard to find wintry versions of those. All right, so we've gone over some general goals. Now, instead of asking you to pick only one goal, I'm just going to ask you how much satisfaction you get from prioritizing certain goals. So satisfaction is key because I do believe that satisfaction is very personal. If you wear an outfit that's like objectively perfect to like 9 out of 10 people, but you don't like it, then it's kind of useless for you unless you are trying to dress in a way that pleases others. Say like your job is very public forward, you are in the public eye a lot and you really need your outfits to manipulate people's perception of you, then it could be satisfying because it fulfills a bigger goal you have in your career or something like that. But in terms of just personal expression, if the way you're dressing does not satisfy and please you, then I don't think it's very successful at all. All right, so ask yourself, how satisfied are you when you dress in a way and that really emphasizes your body, or when your outfits represent a strong sense of identity or a role that you feel very, very powerfully drawn to? How satisfied are you when your clothes and makeup make your hair, skin, eyes look like they just pop, like elevated, celebrated, flawless? And how satisfied are you when your outfits bring you closer to the type of body that you, I guess, would appreciate the most? They're all valid. They're all valid. There's nothing wrong with wanting to show off your body, and there's nothing wrong with not wanting to show off your body. They're all perfectly valid. You just have to be truthful about what matters to you and what makes you feel the most fulfilled. All right, so let's discuss ways that you can look at these ways of being satisfied and using systems in the most straightforward way to get that satisfaction. So if you really want to emphasize your body, I recommend Kibbe for enhancing your natural lines because you're going to get the most emphasis on your silhouette and you'll get the most technical descriptions of ways to really elevate your natural body lines. And if you happen to be an angular hourglass, then the body shape system offers ways to really celebrate it, in my opinion. Hopefully we get more, I would say, celebratory descriptions of the other shapes. Maybe I have to do that, but if you are a conventional hourglass, you will definitely be celebrated in the body shape or fruit shape system. Okay, if you're satisfied the most when your outfits represent a strong sense of identity, then look into style essences. If you are more into like abstract roles or themes that create an almost like wearable ambiance that is customized for you, just like mixing your own custom perfume. It's very layered, very personal. But if you want something that's very clear, that tells people who you think you are and how you want to be treated, then I recommend going into style archetypes. For example, if you have a very strong queen archetype, you want to be treated like a queen. You want to be treated in a very referential, sophisticated way. For example, if you're a huntress, you don't want to be treated like a queen. You want to be treated in a very different way. So if you like to dress to signal to people around you, you know, who you are, and then the archetypes, I think, are the best way to get that done. All right, so moving on, how satisfied are you when your clothes and makeup make your skin, eyes, and hair look more elevated and celebrated? Obviously, color systems will work the best, and if you want more specific ones, look into 16 systems or like David Zilla, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he offers very artistic ways to consider your own color and your natural beauty. It's kind of like figuring out what kind of painting your palette will create. It's very hard to paint a rococo in a Gauguin springtime palette. You know what I mean? You can, but it doesn't have the same feel. All right, and lastly, how satisfied are you when your outfits make you feel like you've dealt with any flaws in a way that make you feel more protected? So go to body shapes if you like that feeling of, you know, imposed balance. If you want to create a less personal expression and you want a more polished result that, you know, kind of gives you an armor, doesn't put you in a position to feel as exposed with your personal expression or even with your silhouette, if you want to create a more curated and almost like distanced result, the body shapes will give you the most insight for getting that done. Obviously, you can use body shapes for showing off your body, but if you want to get the most insight as to how to create almost armor of an outfit, which is totally valid. Like some people don't want to be so, you know, sharply or severely perceived in the public sphere. I totally get wanting to present yourself in a way that's a little bit more, I guess you could say, modest or conservative or more obscured on purpose. That is totally valid. Don't let anyone tell you that you have to show off your body if you don't want to show off your body. Even if you usually like showing off your body, there's days when you don't even want to do that. So the most insight for that, body shapes. All right, so how about examples of not using the style systems most effectively? Examples. You try to use the Kibbe system to figure out what will make your insecure facets feel more protected. So again, body shapes. Look for ways that you can present your insecurities so that they're less exposed. For example, if you feel like you have a large chest on a very petite frame and it's just kind of taking over your entire image, leaning into your curves might push you into a new level of self-consciousness and discomfort. Instead, you can kind of balance your large chest so that it doesn't have as much emphasis, and the body shapes will give you the most tips for that. Next up, you try to use the style essences to make the most technically specific outfit. If you want technicality, go for Kibbe, especially my videos. Because I really do think that the Kibbe system will give you the best accommodations in terms of fabric weight, drape, neckline shape, shoulder clarity, waist definition, outfit segmentation, continuity, directionality, even different types of patterns. This system just gives you the most depth in terms of technicality. All right, next up, you try to use a body shape system to enhance your personal expression. Use the style essence system because the body shape is not about your style. The body shape is about your shape. Style essence is about your essences. So if any system has essences in it, it's probably going to be a little bit more about your personality, your preferences, more so than just stressing your physicality. But do keep in mind that even when you get your essences identified, there is still a somewhat objective proportion going on. So a 60% dramatic with 40% romantic will look different than something who's 80% romantic and 20% dramatic. So I'm just mentioning that because even if you think style essences are a little bit more subjective, there's still an objective layer to them. Like, for example, I can't be a natural angelic at my height, frame, coloring, and with my face, even though sometimes I feel like I am very out of this world, meditative, and want to start a bonfire and just cook everything outdoors. But I can dress however I want. Don't forget that. You don't need any system to tell you or validate your personal style or preferences, okay? But if you want to use them, if you want to use them, you have to play by the rules to get the most out of them. Do you know what I mean? You can't just disagree with the limitations, but then expect to get some insight from them. You got to suspend your disbelief so that you can dive in and get the pearls. Then you can leave that bit of the ocean. All right, the last one, you don't use color at all. You could be in the most beautifully perfect garments and materials, but if you don't use even a little bit of color theory, there could be something really off about your color pairings or even how the colors are, interacting with your natural pigmentation. Especially important, even if you don't stick to your natural pigmentation. For example, originally Soft Summer Zooey Deschanel looks different when she wears her hair in the more wintry way with the stark black hair, heavy eyeliner, contrasting and heavy bangs, different changes, different colors. Alright, so here are some general mistakes of using any style system. You expect it to account for every single aspect. It can't. Style systems are like different astrological systems, like Chinese, Yodish, Hellenistic. The same person is seen through different lenses, different themes are emphasized, different context is needed to approach each system in order to extract the most insight. Go for the one that you like. Individual stylists with the entire style system. When you consult an individual stylist, you basically just consult their perspective. It's informed by the style system, but it's their interpretation. Ideally, you choose a stylist because you resonate with how they view style, how they apply it, how they can discuss it, and you like their approach and their taste. Next, we have equating your level of style knowledge with a style system's efficacy. So this is going to sound like a little tough love, but if you have very little style experience and you're a bit naive about advertising, and you attempt to create outfits with someone's suggestions, you run the risk of misunderstanding their ideas or applying them in an erroneous way. For example, if I give you an outfit example and tell you it would work well based on its elements, that does not mean you can expect to buy that exact outfit and expect it to fit you perfectly. Even if your body is almost identical to the models, clothing photo shoots use lots of editing, unseen clothing manipulation like pinning, stitching, even cutting, even pads. They put bands, they put push bras to make certain tops look better. They'll put hip pads to make the skirt or the dress look more curvy. There's so much manipulation going on, and obviously posing. So one, don't be naive. Don't just blind buy an item not seeing how it looks on you. That's going to be a waste of money and a waste of time. Also, take it slow. style. Learn about how fabrics work on you and interact with you. You're not going to get it all at once. Even if you get the most, I would say, descriptive and thorough style consult, when it comes to you having to apply it for yourself and create outfits, you still need to practice. So just be cognizant of your level of technical knowledge and don't equate it with how effective a style system is. You can drive a Ferrari, and if you don't know how to parallel park, it's not the car's fault. It's a skills issue. I know it sounds tough, but I've just seen it a lot that people tend to resent a style system, but really there's just not learning enough about style in order to apply it in a way that will satisfy them. All right, and last one is assuming all clothes are of equal quality. If I suggest a halter neck, empire waist, tiered midi dress with ruffles and a side slit to you in a specific color, it doesn't matter because you have to find the one that will perform well on you. Unfortunately, with so much polyester outfits being made, lots of gaps in quality control, even within a brand, they could be getting a dress made by different workshops in different countries or different counties with different workers. Quality will always differ. There's not a 100% guarantee that the item will be top quality, so you really have to assess the item you're wearing. There's technical things to look out for, like constructed details. Are the stitches well made, well placed? Are the measurements good? You can't be naive about that. Even the bigger brands will give very badly made items of clothing, so you have to learn how to look for quality as well. All right, so which one is right for you? Personally, I suggest keeping them all in mind, but study one at a time and see how much you can gain from it. Study the one that meets your goals first. But if you find yourself getting overly obsessed and expecting too much, take a break from studying style systems, take a break from interacting with the material, or study a completely different style system to gain a more holistic perspective to balance it out. Also, don't forget the importance of keeping records. We take records of our gym goals, the weights we pull, the exercises we've done. Do the same with your style journey. Take notes, take photos, write down your observations. Even if the style is not on you, if you noticed someone wearing something that looked beautiful or really caught your eye, take some sort of note of it, because you will not remember all of these wonderful reflections or observations, and having them in one place will give you lots of material to reflect on. You see your patterns, you see what you actually like versus what you say you think you like, or what you think you want to wear, if that makes sense. Also, this is going to sound a little woo-woo, but style is kind of like enlightenment. Even once you find your perfect wardrobe, you must still chop wood and carry water. It's not like you suddenly can do magic with your style skills, if that makes sense. You're still the same person with the same set of accessible actions. It's not like you can snap your fingers once you find your perfect style and then everything will fall in place. Style is just one avenue of your personal expression, so don't let it run your life. That would be only allowing yourself to speak in fully edited sentences, so let it be fun. Experiment if you wish, ideally in a sustainable way, like borrowing a friend's outfit, thrifting, exchanging clothes, or honestly just going to the mall and trying on clothes at different stores and taking photos. That's free. Just don't feel pressured to buy a completely new wardrobe all the time. Sometimes you just get that itch to find something new. You just want novelty. You just want a new experience. You don't have to buy it. You just go to the store, try some stuff on, or even just put different scarves against your face or different sunglasses against your face. Sometimes you just want a different perspective of yourself. You don't even need to go shopping. And also, don't limit your self-expression to clothes. There's so many ways to express yourself. If you put all of your eggs in one basket and express yourself only through clothes, you are going to be very miserable. All right, and I just wanted to end on this quote: love of beauty is taste. The creation of beauty is art. You can always develop your taste, expand your palette. That's all great, but let the creation or the development of your beauty and your wardrobe be more like art. Let intuition and technical skill and ability combine to give you the most. And if you need any help with your style journey, please check out my services on thealignedlover.com. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.